Good morning and welcome to another market review session, actually, pre-market review session with the market trader. My name is Ray, the market trader, and let's get started. So, the first order of business again, guys, just to kind of want to remind everyone that the content that's being offered, it's not the screen I wanted to share here. Do, 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 do. Go ahead and move on to this. There it is. All right. So again, just want to remind everyone that the content that's being published and distributed by the market trader and its affiliates is to be treated as general information only. None of the information provided by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice and offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, or fund. Use of this information contained herein is to be used at your own risk, and company, its partners, representatives, agents, employees, contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. We all understand that future trading does carry a fair amount of risk and is not for every investor. An investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital, and only risk capital, uh, money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Nothing contained herein is a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell futures, options, or forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. So now that we've gotten the risk disclosure out of the way, guys, we'll go ahead and take a look at the news here. Just got a couple of things I need to wrap up, and then we'll move right into that. Give me a bear with me here, guys. Just getting my portal set up here. All right. Let's see. Close this. Open this. Close this. Open this. And we're going to take a look at the portal here now. There it is. Go ahead and do that. All right. So what do we have in the way of news today? Well, really, we only have a very light day in news, to be honest. We have the U.S. Chicago PMI report coming in at 9:45 a.m. today. We have tomorrow, no April Fools. We have a fair amount of news. ISM coming in, and then later in the week the standard jobless claims, unemployment rate, and things of that nature. But today, news are rather light in comparison to some of the other events that could shake up the markets later this week. Okay, so let's go ahead now, and now that we have a feel for what the news has in store, we'll go ahead and move into the charts and take a look at what the charts have to say. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with our regular normal environment here, and or I should say instrument, and that is the gold market. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the visible range volume profile. I'm going to turn off initial balance here for a moment. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move over to the continuous contract here, just to get us a better feel for what sentiment is. Although I think everyone knows the tear that gold has been in of late. We'll go ahead and take a look at the monthly chart. Okay, so monthly chart, again, we're starting or kind of ending the month as strong as we ended, maybe even stronger than the prior month here. Okay, so last day of March, we are looking to close the month relatively strong. Okay, we continue to remain in very strong structure here to the upside. We are above our 233-day EMA, and continue to make higher highs and higher lows in this market. Okay, moving down to the weekly chart. Okay, weekly chart. Again, this is kind of the start of the week here. We can see that we continue to make higher highs and higher lows, and this week is no different. We're starting the week again with a bullish candle. Moving down to the daily. Okay, daily, similar view. I guess this gap is a result of rollover here. Okay, so again, we continue to push higher in this market. Okay, really nothing in its sights here to kind of maybe stunt the path here to the upside. Kind of inclined at this point to do a little bit of Fibonacci analysis just to get a sense, just to get a sense where this could go here. So if I do this here, say let's make this the top and this pulling back here to the bottom, it seems like we are well on our way to 3,228. We have above us close to over 3,450. Okay, these are all this here, the 3,028 would be the 100% extension of this swing here. Okay, this swing here would be the 100% extension. Okay, right here. Okay, this is the 100% extension. And then above us, okay, above us at the 1.618, we have the 1.618 extension here at 34, just a hair under 3450. Okay, I'm actually going to add another level here just as an area of resistance, and that's going to be let's see if we could add, going to have the 1.13. 1.13. Okay, and that's going to be another area of potential resistance in this market. So somewhere in between here, these are areas could serve as resistance, and that kind of brings us up to almost 3,300 in this market. All right, moving down to the 4-hour chart. Okay, start to get into these some of these intraday day session levels here. Again, you can see that the overnight has also been strong to the upside. You can see that we've broken through some consolidation here around what is that? 3120. We're going to go ahead and mark that area as a potential area to entertain in the future for possibilities of a bounce. Okay, so this area certainly is an area that we want to keep a track of. Okay, should price come down to that level, the expectation is that price should bounce and continue in that direction. All right, moving down to the 30-minute chart. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start looking at some of our do a little bit of volume analysis here. Okay, we're going to compare Friday's price. Okay, Friday's price with today, and we're going to do that with the fixed range volume profile. So we're going to locate the open of Friday, okay, and drag that across to the close of Friday, right about there, okay. And you can see that price is well above value, indicating that participants or traders are willing to pay a premium, okay, to be involved in this market, okay. So we are well above value here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and draw this is value area high. Okay, right about here at what's that, 3120. I'm gonna go ahead and draw that in blue so that we don't confuse it with point of control. Okay, all right, and then we also have just below that point of control, which we reacted away from. Okay, so we came down to just below point of control and found some buyers, and we've been bullish ever since. Okay, while we're here, we're going to go ahead and draw in value area low. Okay, so this is kind of what we're looking at here, and I suspect that we probably have exceeded some average daily ranges, but we'll go ahead and double confirm that. Okay, yeah, our average daily range has already been exceeded. We're going to go ahead and open up ASR, not for New York, but for London here, and see where that is. Okay, I suspect that we're probably pretty close to breaking that as well. Okay, so looks like we still have a little bit of room to get to ASR high here at 3163. Okay, but nonetheless, we are on the upper end of the session range here. Okay, so last thing I'm going to add here, and I don't know why it's currently hidden, but I'm going to go ahead and add my anchor, my VWAP. Okay, so I would say that the VWAP would offer us maybe a nice location to participate in this quite bullish market here. Okay, so we have let's see, we're going to go ahead also and open up initial balance. Okay, so that's our initial balance range, relatively narrow range, indicating that it may not take all that much for the market to exceed that range, whether it's to the upside or to the downside. Given that we've broken some structure here to the upside, we've broken average daily range. The feeling is that there obviously is more continued upside momentum in this market. I'm going to take a look here at volume delta and see what the volume delta has to say here. So currently, obviously, we're seeing a little bit of selling here. We had these last couple of candles actually were very supportive to the upside, but now we've kind of looks like we've met a little bit in the way of selling, although we do have a little bit of a wick here below, indicating that there's still some buying pressure below us here. Okay. 31, we have 3163 in the horizon. Okay. Most likely would not want to participate necessarily in any sort of bullish trade that heads into ASR high. Okay. To be honest. Okay. If I'm going to participate in a bullish trade, I would like it to exceed. Okay. I would like it to exceed this average session range. Okay. And then use that average session range maybe as an area of maybe support that I can use to leverage it for a continuation move to the upside. Okay. In a similar vein, we have below us, we have, if assuming that we keep this initial balance range, initial balance could also serve as that area, okay, of where we could potentially take an execution as well. Okay. So this is kind of a couple of areas that I'm going to be looking at and looking for in this market. Should we turn here? I would say that a reasonable target would be VWAP, and if we do manage to get below VWAP, which I would be impressive given the strength of this move to the upside, then it starts to open up the door maybe to some of these ranges below us, right? Value area high, and then this demand zone that we created here below us. Okay, so first things first. Right now, we are at the top end of the range. Okay, we need to remain patient and to see if we can locate. I would say better trading location to really participate in this market. Okay. I don't know about you, but I'm not really keen on participating here necessarily to the long side without having some sort of major reference level that I can use to lean on. And at the moment, we're inside initial balance, so I'm not really keen on. I'm gonna go ahead and drop this to a 15-minute chart. But even with a 15-minute chart, you see that we are developing a little bit of a kind of a bullish flag here. Okay, in this market. But nonetheless, we still are inside initial balance, inside fair price. So I would be interested, maybe potentially, again, if we can get above this 3163 level, that could offer me a nice opportunity, maybe to the upside. Okay, if that were to come to fruition, well, I think we've done a little bit of analysis here. Is this here? But if I take the most recent low here, just to kind of get a sense of where this price can go, because we really don't have, honestly, any structure here above us to cause price to stall. So we have to depend on tools like Fibonacci to kind of help guide us as to how far this market could go. We have this 3172 level here above us, and then the 100% extension is coming pretty close to 3200. Okay, so these would be reasonable targets for this, assuming that we get above, was that 3160. Okay, if we do manage to get above 3160, I think it does open the door for 3172. Okay, assuming that we can get, or 72, I should say, 3172 as maybe a potential target for this move here. Okay, We are developing a little bit of a bullish candle. We'll have to wait and see and wait for this initial balance range to establish before we decide on taking any sort of executions in this market. All right. So taking a look here at the chat to see if there's anything in the way of questions. I do not see them. So we'll go ahead and move on to the crude oil market. Okay, so crude oil market, we're going to go ahead and do kind of a similar analysis that we did here. We'll kind of start off, since this is the start of the week, we'll start off with a kind of a monthly review of the markets here really quickly. Okay, so we'll start off with the monthly, well, actually the monthly chart. Okay, so monthly chart, we're coming into the end of the month, and the end of the month is showing a little bit of indecision. Okay, we have a little bit of indecision here. We're at the lower end of the range. Okay, we're around this 61 level, and basically we've basically the high here around 110. But more recently, that range has been a bit tighter. I would say 80, 85. 85, 86 level down to the 66 level. Now we are right hugging the 233-day EMA. If we do not manage to hold this level, then it opens the door for maybe price to kind of make its way down to say 44. I don't see anything necessarily in its way here. I will draw this level though. This level was prior resistance. This could be supportive here. Okay, looking at this on the monthly chart, I'm looking at this level here. Okay, we breached this level. So around what is this? 6150. 6150 does appear to be another area of support in this market. Okay, should we close below EMA? Like I said, I think it does open the door maybe for some price discovery below us, but we'll have to wait and see. Okay, moving down to the weekly. Weekly chart, again, it's just giving us a little bit of a drill down on the monthly candles. Okay, so these monthly candles, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks now of bullish behavior. Honestly, we really haven't broken any significant structure here to the upside to really begin to embrace or change the current sentiment that we currently have in this market. We are what appears to be in range, right? A lot of overlapping price that we're seeing currently, but we are in an area that has been supportive in the past. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and draw my line here right around this level. Okay, you can see here around 66, 62. Okay, this area has been supportive. All right, moving on to the daily chart. Okay, looking at the daily chart again, you can see you can see the support that's been created here. We're going to go ahead and draw in a little bit of a demand zone down below here. Okay, you can see that we haven't been able to breach inside this area, this 66 level. Okay, so again, that's an indication of some bullish price action. Okay, looks like we are having a little bit of trouble getting above 70. Okay, 70 seems to be kind of a line in the sand here. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that in as an area of resistance for now. Okay. Now, if price does manage to get above 70, okay, then I would say we can use 70 as an area to support maybe a continuation move to the upside. If it's unable to get above, okay, if we just continue to kind of to churn here and not have any participants to drive price higher, well, eventually we're going to auction lower to find buyers. Okay. And we could potentially find them here, or could potentially find them here or below. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. All right, moving on to the 4-hour chart. Okay, here we are again, as I mentioned in the daily chart. Okay, we are kind of hovering and ranging around this 233-day EMA. We've made an attempt to get above 70. That so far has been rejected. Okay. Looks like we're making another attempt to maybe see if we can get above 70 here at 69.75, assuming that we can get maybe a 4-hour candle to close here positive and ultimately above this 70 level that could cause price to revisit 70.50, maybe 70.71, and maybe as high as 73. Okay, but first order of business, we need to get above this 70 level. to entertain any of that. Okay, moving down to the 30-minute chart. Okay, so looking at the 30-minute chart here. So we're going to take a look here and examine some of these levels here. So again, we're going to go ahead and open up the fixed range volume profile. We're going to go ahead and take a look at where price is in relation to Friday's price action. Okay, and you can see that we are above value. We haven't actually officially opened the market here, but the market will open here in about 4 minutes or so. Okay, so the market is attempting to open above value from yesterday, which not yesterday, from Friday. So that in and of itself is an indication of maybe a bullish potential here. Now I'm going to obviously hold out here. I'd like to see price get at least above this level here. I'm going to go ahead and maybe mark this in a different type of line here. Dash line. Again, this is kind of another area of resistance. Okay, so I'm going to wait for price to get above both these levels really, and then maybe use those levels on the way back as a way to participate in this market. As long as we stay inside these areas, we remain vulnerable to a move that could cause price to come back down. You can see that we did make an attempt here. We kind of pushed below. This feels more of a retracement, more of a consolidation, maybe building a case to drive price higher. Okay. So like I said here, we're about a couple minutes away. So the initial balance range is still not in play here. I'm going to go ahead and open up ASR and ADR here just to get a sense of where those prices are located. Okay. So you can see here, we're right up against ADR, okay, average daily range, and we've already gotten a little bit of a reaction away from it, okay? We have ASR somewhere here. Let's see if I can open up ASR. Yeah, ASR for London. And that's actually the ASR range. ADR is slightly higher, okay? So if we already reached the ASR level for London, and looks like we got a little bit of reaction, but not necessarily the reversal that so the market appears to be quite strong right now. Okay, and assuming that we can get a candle here to maybe the close as kind of an engulfing candle, that could drive price above 70, and maybe we can get to some of these levels that we have above us here at 70.31 and maybe as high as 70.40 or beyond. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking at here in the crude oil market. Like I said, we're about a minute away from the initial balance range to open, or actually the market to open, and we start to see our initial balance range. So let's go ahead and move on then to the equities market. Okay, we're going to take a look at the equity and start off with NASDAQ. Okay. So NASDAQ looks like we are looks like a bottom end of the range here. We'll look at the daily. Okay, so I've kind of marked this level from the past here. I'm not exactly sure, possibly the result of this here. Looks like we got a little bit, maybe this is related to rollover. Let me go ahead and move over to actually, well, before we do that, let's do our review of the NASDAQ on the monthly basis to start. And then we'll move to the current contract. Okay, so you can see here we're closing the month on a relatively, I guess, weak note, right? We have a very strong candle to the downside, and you can see here I've drawn my channel. Okay, I've been tracking this market with a channel, and you can see that this is potentially the first month, the first month that where we have the potential of closing below this bullish channel. Now, the question is this going to cause the market to, kind of discover lower here further? Okay, we do see that we have some support here on the monthly chart around this 18,435 level, which is well below the current market. But nonetheless, again, it will be interesting to see how we close the month here. Okay, do we close the month below this channel? okay, which could lead to maybe some price discovery lower, maybe as low as 17,500. Okay, that's not out of the realm of possibility here. Okay, moving down to the weekly, we're going to kind of do a further analysis of this monthly chart. The wick on the monthly you're talking about, Farador? This took out all the liquidity. Yeah, possibly, and doesn't necessarily have the strength to continue to the high side. Oh, here, yes, above, right? So I have this area here. This is a demand zone, right? We see that we got a wick away, we got a test, we got a push, but the push has not been strong enough, right? Yeah, this is a sweep of liquidity, correct? Okay. It took away all the liquidity away from this market to the buy side. Now we are retesting that same level, and if there's no buyers here, then and we close below, well, watch out below. Okay, that could lead to a rather significant sell off here, maybe as low as 15,000. Okay, it would not be out of the question. Okay, but I don't want to. I don't. We still have an area of support here around as this area in green. This is a supportive area, right? Yes, exactly, Ferdor. Yeah, the amount of participants that drove price higher. Well, there may not be. Yes, correct. It is quite possible. It is quite possible that this area has kind of potentially wiped out all the buy liquidity that we had. That's certainly quite possible, and it could be easier for price to get through this area. No doubt about it. Okay. Okay. Moving to the weekly chart. Okay. So here we are. Okay. We're starting to see, okay, a little bit of a staircase, right? Again, looking at that same channel, we have this close below the channel that I had drawn on the monthly chart. And we have another developing start of the week candle that's also bearish. Okay. So you can see here on the volume delta, okay, volume delta is also indicating that that we are very much aligned with this view. Okay, that we could continue lower. Like I said, this area could remain, even though we've had some liquidity or taken away here on the buy side. This could remain supportive. So I wouldn't just automatically assume that this area is going to be pierced through it. Okay, we could remain in this range for a period of time. Now, what I would like to see, okay, if my view is bearish, I would like to see this area breached, and then I would like to see this area hold, right? What was support becomes resistant. Okay, really, for me to entertain something like this, I don't necessarily want to short into an area that has historically on the weekly chart proven to be demand. Okay, moving down to the daily chart. Okay, looking at the daily chart, we're kind of looking through this here. Again, we have a little bit of a push to the upside, met with some more sellers. Now we're back to this area, and I don't know why we have this area. We have an indication here that we have some support here, but that's being challenged as we speak, right? So we did get a push. This feels like it's more of a correction, okay, for a continuation. And I would be more inclined to do a little bit of a Fibonacci analysis here to the downside, right? Where if I take this move here, retrace it up here, look how my demand zone lines up with the 61.8% extension of this move. That is not a coincidence, okay? That is something that is a confluence here, okay? Then we have this 17,250 or 248 level as the 100% extension of this market. Okay. So again, taking this measure, these are a couple of areas where price could lead to. Okay. Moving on to the 4-hour chart. Okay, for our chart. Okay, similar kind of view here. We are seeing a little bit of support at these current levels. Okay, here at 19,000, let's say 210 or say 135 ish. Okay, somewhere in that range. Okay, we're seeing a little bit of support, a little bit of indecision, but the market is very much very much bearish. Okay, very much staircasing its way down. This could be just part of another staircase for our next leg lower. Okay. Very important, I would say, for the bulls to hold this level. Otherwise, I would say that we have a conclusion here that we're going to get down to 18,400 without much effort. Okay. All right. Moving on to the 30-minute chart. Looking at the 30-minute chart, like I said, we're kind of a ways away from the initial balance range. We still have about 20 minutes, 25 minutes before this initial balance range is established. We're going to go ahead and open up the fixed range volume profile. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the start of Friday to the close of Friday here. Okay. And you can see that price is below value. People are willing to pay, right? We're building value lower. Okay. Now we are in an area, right? You can see here, we're kind of an area here that we could potentially get a bounce from. We are close to this ASR extension to the downside. We have also ADR here, right? So we have areas to support us, right? For a potential long. Okay, no doubt about it. It could easily get up to back to an area of value, right? Prior area of value here, right? You can see this area here. Okay, this area here would be a resisted area. This would be an ideal location to see price continue to the downside. I'm not necessarily keen on participating in an area where I'm seeing demand. Okay, not to short right away. I would be more inclined to sell some sort of strength, and that area of strength would be value area low from Friday. Okay, that would be kind of the logical area for me to entertain a short. Right. So let's see. I'm not seeing VWAP here, so I'm going to go ahead and see if I can add it. I keep seeing this. All right, there it is. All right, so we're right below VWAP as well. And if I take a look at the what London was able to do, and I suspect not much of anything, because it does appear that we've been kind of in a range through most of the evening. So yeah, so similar to what we're seeing here on the daily, right? With this candle here, we got above London. So if I'm going to be bullish, and it wouldn't be a bad spot to take kind of a little bit of a scalp trade, right? To the upside, right? If I can get above 19,000, let's say 19,262. Okay, I could get into a scalp trade that would take me maybe as high as 19,426. But I need to get above. I need to break some structure here. Okay, if this area right here, we could continue to remain in this area. Okay, for the session, right? So if I'm going to participate in the bullish trade, I need to see price break some structure. We have the first indication here. We haven't quite broken above this 19,225 level. The next area would be 19,262. Okay, and if we manage to break above those, again, I could use these levels, okay, as a place for price to hold, okay, and then lead to a move back to value area low. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm seeing on the NASDAQ. I'm just going to pause here for a moment to see if there's any sort of questions, but we are at a location where we could participate in maybe a trade to the long side, more of a scalp trade, because the higher time frame is still very much bearish. But I think a move from 260 up to 426, I think it's going to be to the likings of a lot of people, right? Not something that we would necessarily be shy of taking, right? All right. Not seeing any questions, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the ES market here, and we're going to do the same kind of analysis here. We're going to go ahead and remove some of our drawings here. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the monthly chart. Okay, since it's the start of the week, And again, similar kind of thing that we were seeing in the Nasdaq. We're seeing also, again, I'm inclined to kind of do my little channel analysis here. Okay, so if I take the bodies here, well, this to me even seems more bearish than what we were seeing in the Nasdaq. We have a full body below. Okay, assuming that we do close here, that we close the month here, we have a full body. Even if I adjust this a little bit to the upside, even we have a full body below. Okay, met with similar view on the. I can't even look at the strength of this volume delta bar. Okay, there are a lot of sellers in this bar right now. Okay, right? They're interested to the downside in this market. Okay, moving on to the weekly chart. Okay, weekly chart, again, you can see that we are beginning to kind of staircase here. Okay, we have a leg lower, we consolidate, potentially we have another leg lower on the horizon. Look at our volume delta, no signs of bullish market order here. Okay, this is a kind of a little bit of an ominous sign here, to be honest, that maybe we will see maybe another leg to the downside. Okay, looking over here to the left, is there anything that could cause price to stall? Well, I do see a little bit of an area here on the weekly chart. Okay, maybe this area below here could offer us some respite in this action, right around this 5150 down to 4970, 4965, or basically the 5,000 level. Okay, it's kind of what we're looking at here on the weekly chart. Moving into the daily chart, again, we see again our series of candles here. Okay, we are, I think, certainly if we manage to break below, this is kind of an area here that I would be closely watching. This low here would be an area that I'm going to would watch pretty closely here at 55.26. Okay, if we do manage to close below that, I don't see any reason that we can't to explore 5,400. Okay, 5,400 here. Okay, so I'm just going to draw that in 5,400, and then we have another area here at 5,200. Looks like these are a couple of zones here that I'm seeing on the daily chart. Okay, first order of business is can we or are we able to continue with structure to the downside, indicating I need to see a new low. If I see a new low, then that would give me some confidence that I can use that same level as a reference level for a continuation move to the downside. Okay, moving on to the 4-hour chart. I'm going to turn off initial balance here since we're still about 15 minutes away from that taking place. Okay, let's see if we can expand this area here a little bit. Okay. All right. So we are coming into an area. Okay. I've already identified that on the weekly chart. It's a much more evident here on the 4-hour. Okay. So this is coming into a demand zone. Okay. If we are going to bounce, this would be an area for that to happen. Okay. If we close below this level, then we can use that same level, just like I mentioned on the weekly chart or daily chart, for a continuation move. But this area could serve as an area of support in this market. Okay. Moving on to the 30-minute chart. This is where we're going to start doing a little bit of volume analysis. We've already reached the ASR low of London. Okay. We are still below VWAP. Okay. So we're not out of the woods. Again, really, honestly, the conservative path would be to wait for price to get above this level here at 5,600 or 56. Let's call it 55.87. Okay, if we can get above 55.87, 55.90, and ultimately above 5,600. Okay, then that would maybe give us an opportunity to maybe think about reaching some of these levels above us. Okay. Otherwise, this area here is ripe, okay, for sellers. This whole area here is ripe for selling, okay? Right? This whole, I would say, this is area of sellers. All right. If we cannot get above, then I would say that we're probably better served in entertaining trades to the downside. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at fixed range volume profile here. We're going to go ahead and open up the fixed range volume profile. If I could locate it now, where did it go? There it is. Okay. We're going to start with Friday. Okay. Start the start of Friday to the close of Friday, right about here. Okay. And you can see, much like the NASDAQ, sellers are building value below us. Okay. Sellers are building value, are accepting lower prices. Okay. So the question becomes, do we fight this, right? Do we fight this trend to the downside, or do we locate a location? And I would say the location on the ES to participate certainly would be back closer to this value area low location. Okay. This would be a logical location, and also serves, it's also average session range high. Okay. This area here would be a logical location to participate in a continuation trade. Okay. To the downside. All right. This would be a logical location for that. Right. Right. So the other thing, the other item would be, say, if we break below 55.49, okay, and then we can use maybe 55.49 as a reference level for a continuation move to the downside. Right now, I'm going to have to wait for this initial balance range to establish, okay, see how price reacts around this 5,600 level, okay, and if I get what I expect to get, then maybe I entertain at the 5,600 level an opportunity to maybe take this market lower. If market closes above, then I can use that same 5,600 level for a continuation move to the upside. But I'm not going to be, how we say, super embraced with that, because I do see that we have the value area low and not so far, right? So this might be, this is more of a scalp trade. Okay. Now, if we do manage to close here inside initial balance, okay, not initial balance. If we do manage to close inside value from Friday, then we could potentially get a rotation all the way up to 5660. Okay. All right. If we manage to get a close inside value, but we do see a lot of resistance in this area here at around 5626. We have average session range high, average daily range. We have point of control. Okay. This could also serve as an area. Okay. We're going to mark that in red so we understand what that is. Okay. So this area right here, honestly, would be an area, another kind of area that I would kind of highlight as an area of interest to the bearish side right here. Okay. This area right here would be another area where I would expect price to potentially come up to and then reverse away from. Okay. All right. So that's kind of what we have for the ES here. Okay. So market continues to be bearish, coming into some areas of demand. So I'm not really keen on really participating in the current location. But if I get any sort of rally, then I would say that that rally should be met with sellers at some point, certainly by the time we get up to value area low. Okay. All right. So we'll close off this session with one last review, and that's going to be the review of the Dow. Okay. So looking at the Dow, we're going to go ahead and take a peek here at the monthly to see if the Dow is even in more bearish territory than the ES. I would say that it's probably more aligned with the ES than it is the NASDAQ. You can see that, again, we have the monthly chart looking to close below this channel, met with significant volume delta bar to the bearish side. Okay, moving down to the weekly chart. Weekly chart also giving us the same kind of view here, right? We just have more candles. So we have two candles now that have closed below this channel that I have drawn on the monthly. Looks like we've kind of come back to retest this level here, to retest the conviction of the sellers. And so far it's been positive, right? We have not been able to close back inside 43,000. Okay. So all indications are that we are looking to head lower in this market. Okay. So again, if we are unable to get inside this area and potentially break above 43,000 or 44,000 in this case, then I would say that the path of least resistance is lower. Okay. Daily chart. Looking at the daily. Okay. So we're starting to get below our EMAs here. We have a little bit of indecision. Market's going to open here in about 9 minutes here, but we've come up to this area that I've just drawn here as an area of supply. Okay. Have not been able to breach inside this area between 42,800 all the way to 44,000. Okay. So this could offer us an opportunity. I'm going to go ahead and draw in my Fibonacci. Okay. So we have certainly down to the lows as a target at 40,428. And then ultimately we can get 100% extension, which would take us down to 38,826. Okay. That would be rather significant move, but would be aligned with the structure that we're beginning to build in this market. All right. Moving down to the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart. Okay. We have our supply area above us. We are kind of in the middle of our average daily range here. We're beginning to staircase our way down. We've broken some recent structure to the downside. I'm going to go ahead and mark that in as now red. Okay, this area right here around 41,879. I would expect to be resistant at this point. And then the next level here that I'm seeing that could be supportive on the 4-hour is this 41,300 level. Okay, so this might be an area where we might see a little bit of support, but ultimately it could go as low as let me see, 41,000, 41,890. I'm going to go ahead and maybe draw a little box area down below here. This would be kind of a logical area for me to look at, maybe an area, maybe potential demand. Okay, down to this level here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and mark that in green. Okay, and that's kind of what I'm looking at here. Okay, so we're about 5 minutes away from the open of the markets. So let's see if there's anything. Oh, let me add my fixed range volume profile. Forgot to do that. So let's locate the start of Friday here. Okay, let's move down to the 30-minute chart. Start of Friday. Did not add my jump the gun here a little bit, guys. Okay. All right. So let me open up the fixed range volume profile for Friday. Okay, there it is. Drag that across to the close of Friday. And you can see, similar to all the other equity markets, we are below. Okay, so sellers are willing to pay a premium for bearish pricing. Okay, like I said, this area down below, this 41,000, as early maybe 41,455, could be an area of support. That's our ASR low. But price is below our VWAP. If I draw in my anchored VWAP here, I suspect we're below that as well. So we're going to use the start of London. So London is bearish as well. So as long as price remains both below our daily and anchor VWAP, I would say that our view should continue to be to the bearish side in the Dow. Okay. So that's kind of my current view. And then, like I said, once we get down to some of these levels down below us here at 41,407, maybe as low as 41,341, 330 level, this area here could be an area maybe that we could see some support right around this level here. Okay. So that's kind of what I'm seeing on the Dow. I would say the equities in general look quite bearish to me. Okay, so we need to continue to look for areas and locations where we can manage our risk and use a reference level to align our trades or manage our risks levels. Okay, again, this is kind of an area here, value area low, could also offer us another location where we could potentially look for a continuation move to the downside. Okay. If we do not hold, all right, this anchor VWAP or daily VWAP, I would say that it's not unreasonable to expect maybe a move back to value area low before we continue. In the off chance that we do manage to close back inside, we also have an area here, point of control. This could also serve as an area for maybe a potential reversal in price. So these two areas would be ideal locations, I would say, for a continuation move to the downside. Okay. Otherwise, the more aggressive route would be to maybe execute something along these lines, or using VWAP as our reference level. Okay. All right. I think with that, guys, I think that's pretty much what I have for the markets. Again, just to kind of quickly review them. Okay. Going into the gold seems to be quite bullish. Okay. We are seeing a little bit of maybe some selling here around 3160. So 3160 is going to be important. The crude oil is also on the upper end of the range, looking to maybe potentially move higher here. I'm going to go ahead and open up initial balance here just to see what initial balance is telling us. Okay, and the crude oil. Okay, so we're up against the average session range high. So again, I would be inclined to maybe look to participate, but only if we get a definitive move above this range and maybe look at maybe a pullback. And then I would say that the equities across the board are looking quite bearish, and that we should be looking to sell, some sort of strength in this market if we do happen to get any strength. Otherwise, it feels quite heavy to the downside. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that's pretty much what I have for this session. A little bit extended session today, since we did a little bit of higher time frame analysis with the monthly and the weekly charts. Please don't hesitate to comment. And if you're not already a subscriber, to also give me a like or two. Again, this is kind of the lifeblood for content providers such as myself. So I would encourage you guys to do that. Otherwise, as we close every session, guys, trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Have a good session, guys. And if I don't see you in the Top Step server and the Coach Ray's room, I'll see you later this afternoon during coaching. Have an excellent day, and we'll talk soon.